Am I the a-hole for not giving my sister money out of my unborn children's bank account? I'm 28 female, have been married to my husband 29 male for 7 years. We were high school sweethearts and tied a knot as soon as we felt it was right in our adulthood. We always knew we wanted to have a family with 2 kids, 3 at most, but we didn't want to just start having babies without doing everything we possibly can to prepare. So immediately after we got married, we made 2 joint accounts, one for our shared finances and one for our future children. We would both work pretty decent jobs, and we have been putting $200 to $300 out of our paychecks into the account for our future children, plus all the other money that we received outside of work, birthdays, gifts, etc. That account is now sitting at a pretty decent amount of money. My sister is under some financial strain at the moment. Not too long ago, she got in a car accident where she totaled her vehicle and the other driver's vehicle. It was her fault, but everyone's okay. And she didn't have insurance. Now it is basically impossible for her to get affordable insurance, and she is paying out of pocket for the damages to the other party's vehicle/medical bills. My parents called me yesterday and asked me to come and see them, so I did. When I arrived, they sat me down and proceeded to ask me if I could give my sister $10,000 out of the account for my future children. Without hesitation, I said no, and they called me inconsiderate and a bad sister. I explained to them that my husband and I have been saving that money for the last 7 years to prepare for our future family, and that is just not a decision I can make. That my sister is facing the consequences of her own actions, and I shouldn't have to put up money that I have been saving for mistakes she made. They aren't seeming to see it from my point of view, and clearly not seeing how ridiculous of a request that is. They said it won't hurt since I don't plan on getting pregnant anytime soon, and that they will work up a way to pay us back. But I stood firm in my decision, and I told them that my sister made her bed by driving irresponsibly, and now she has to lie in it. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Tell your parents that she's their kid, and the money is for your kids. They even know about the account and how much you have in there? It's not anyone's business what you do with your finances, except for you and your husband. Yes, stop telling people how much money you have. It's not their business. After reading Reddit for 2 years, I can't believe how many people blab their personal finances to their family. All that does is bring out the moochers. Zip it. Just tell your parents you talked to your sister and you guys worked things out. This does 2 things. Kills their current request for money and puts them on notice that you two have no problem talking about money issues, which heads off any further asks for money. I actually really love this idea. Edit/update. Thank you for all the kind comments and helping me see things from all perspectives. I'm editing this because I have recently been in contact with my sister about this, and she had no clue that my parents were going to ask me for such a large amount of money, let alone any money at all. She said that she asked them for assistance, about $500, but she's paid off majority of the costs of the damages. It only needs about $3,000 until the damages are completely paid off. She's also said she's not worried about getting a new car right now because her boyfriend's mother is letting her use her old one that is not being used otherwise. She also said she has never asked them for assistance on this specific matter anytime before the other day. So that leaves me puzzled as to why they need 10 grand if my sister owes a little under 3 grand for the damages, and if they were even going to use the money to help my sister in the first place. My sister reiterated to me that she would never ask for that kind of money, especially knowing how expensive children are. She has one of her own. So that poses another question. Do I confront my parents about lying to me? Update 2. Sorry for the wait. I spoke with my husband and we decided not to confront my parents. That whatever financial burden they're dealing with is not our business, nor do we care. We won't be giving out any money from any of our accounts. I believe my sister will confront our parents for using her in their lie. If that happens, I will update again. Also, my sister and I are not estranged, but we don't talk much because our relationship has no depth, because we've never had anything in common. Music tastes, style, boys, etc. I've never been able to relate to her and vice versa. I love her dearly though. I call her to check on my nephew periodically, but she lives 45 minutes away, so I don't visit often and vice versa. There were a lot of comments about sharing my finances with my parents. I was 21 when I discussed this with them, just thinking I was harmlessly informing my parents about my plans for their future grandchildren. I agree with all of you when you say I shouldn't have done that. I know this topic will come around again, and I plan on ignoring it. Again, I would like to thank you all for your input in my dilemma. It was greatly appreciated. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not giving my sister her share of the college fund? Plus update. Original post. A little backstory. We came from an extremely sexist family. For example, my brother got a car, 75% of our parents' estate, a big farm, lands, and all the machinery for it, and they paid for his college. My oldest sister had to take out loans so she can finish her education, while I never went to college because of my undiagnosed ADHD. Now I'm in therapy and start to become okay-ish, but I have money because of sheer dumb luck. My younger sister, 22 female, started college 2 years ago. My parents offered to pay to rent a room after she didn't get a scholarship and a room in the dorms. I offered her to pay her scholarship and some extra for groceries, stating that I put aside college fund for all girls in our family. My 2 daughters, my sister, a younger cousin, and a niece. This is just one account, and in my will, it stated it has to be divided between these girls for college expenses. My little sister is the oldest, and everybody else is between 6 to 12, and the ones who already finished college by the time I died gets nothing from that account. If I have more nieces, I'll add them too. Now to the problem. My sister decided to drop out, get pregnant and marry, planned with her boyfriend/fiancé of 6 months. I try not to be disappointed, I am, but I shut the heck up in real life about it. Today was the big announcement. I knew it beforehand, so I could act all happy, and after the lunch, she pulled me aside and asked to be left over to her college fund. I explained to her that there is no her fund. I already did this when she started college, and I'll be happy to pay for her tuition if she goes back someday. But she has to give me proof that she does go to college, because she pocketed the last semester's payment because she failed to inform me about her dropping out, and I had sent her the money. She freaked out because she counted on that money for a down payment for a 3-bedroom apartment, co-owning with her fiancé, but I stood firm in my decision. She accused me of trying to control her with my money and punishing her because she chose a different path in life, being a stay-at-home mom and not having a career. Our mom pointed out that it wasn't really feminist of me to not support her in this. Now for the comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. You said you'd pay for college. She's not in college, and you're willing to pay if she chooses to go back, which makes you definitely not the a-hole. Your sister is seeing this as you giving her money because you've been sending her money to cover costs, and money's fungible. She's wrong, but I see how she came to that conclusion. I'd suggest if you want to avoid this sort of problems with the other people you are supporting, maybe ask them to send you the bill and instructions for how to pay it. With regard to your mom, I'm sure you've told her in the past how sexist she was about her disposition of educational support to your siblings. She's using your known vulnerability, your engagement with feminist ideas, to get a bit of revenge, which is horrible for her. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be more careful about this when my cousin reaches that age. She's next. If you are continuing with this college fund, pay the school directly, not the a-hole. I don't know what tax law is like in your country, OP, but in the US, paying for someone's tuition directly to the institution is a way to get around lifetime gift taxes for the recipient. In the US, gifts up to a certain amount per year is non-taxable for the recipient, but many tuitions are more expensive than that per year. So if you gave the money to the student to give to the school, they would be on the hook for paying taxes on some of that money. If you pay the school directly, then it doesn't count as gift or taxable income for the student. If something like this is the case in your country too, it might be much better for your cousin to have you pay directly anyway. Not the a-hole. How are you controlling her with money that isn't hers? That's just weird. The money is a college fund, not a down payment on a condo fund. And she's already stolen from you. Tell her to take it out of the money she already pocketed. Turns out she thought it's hers, and if she has a daughter, she's going to get added on that list. We had a smaller argument about this, because she asked what if it's a boy? And well, he's going to be a first his generation, and every great-grandparents of his is going to lose their freaking mind over it on our side of the family, and probably fiancé's side too. Not the a-hole. Go low contact with her. We already are. She knows I'm disappointed, and that I didn't think much of her fiancé. Now for the update. I decided to give you guys an update about the situation with some extra info. About the last semester's payment, little sister offered to pay me back. It's sitting on her account, but I just gifted it to her as baby and wedding contribution for me. And the college fund was a full misunderstanding. She actually thought that it's going to be divided between all girls while I'm alive. I explained to her why it's not gonna happen and went into great details about our older sister's college experience, and she was actually horrified. So it's all good between us, but I'm gonna be a little distant. About my family, we are a deeply traumatized family in a traumatized country. Read a little about Hungary's history. We're having generational trauma for breakfast. I had a long talk with Mom. She tried to act happy at first about my sister's plan, but she broke down eventually. She's worrying too because sister is making the same bad decisions that Mom and I did. And this is why she wanted to get every help my sister she could think of, panicked, and became passive-aggressive towards me. Right now, we try to come up with a plan, how to help my sis without helping my soon-to-be douche brother-in-law. Even my father is against this guy and a marriage, but he tries to be nice because he's afraid he's gonna lose my little sister too. And a few words about Mr. Douche, my future brother-in-law. He's already trying to isolate my sister, who has a codependent personality and wants to play house with anybody who's willing to try it. Hard to watch this crap show, but when everything unfolds, she needs to know she got me, and Mom, maybe even Dad too, in her corner. Me? Douche is careful with me, because they need the money, but still tried some crap steering with me. We'll see what happens next, but one thing for sure, after they split, 1 to 2 marriages ends in divorce over here, so the chances are high. I'm gonna find my sister a good therapist. Betty A. dips out when he finds out the sister isn't bringing her college fund with her to the marriage. Nah, because he still will end up with a free bangmaid. The Hungarian majority lives either below or very freaking close to the poverty line and hold extremely sexist views. So the fact that he will get a maid he can bang anytime while drinking away any money is a pretty cheery future a man here can ask for. I remember instantly falling in love with my husband when he, without prompting, started to dust or do the dishes and give me a painkiller when I was on my period. It's pretty freaking basic, but also it's pretty freaking hard to find as well. Where's brother, and why does he have 75% of his parents' estate? I'm also impressed that OP didn't throw in their mother's face about where was feminism when Big Sis lived in roach-infested apartment. And where is Big Sis too? It sounds like a bastardized version of the primogeniture still practiced here. The family seat, titles, and money goes to the firstborn male, the entire estate, in order that wealth isn't broken up into ever smaller pieces with each generation until, the horror, nobody can pay for the maintenance costs of their castle or their family's traditional seat in the countryside. Thus, they have to sell it. But Hungary was part of the USSR, and they abolished the inheritance of property. So there is no long line of inheritance and loss. And the parents are still alive. They just gave away their land to their son? After we left the Soviet Union, there was a redistribution of land based on the original property ownerships. So yes, the line of inheritance is still there. Usually what happens is that the kids just take over from the parents and the parents retire, but they still own the land. They just write a will if they don't want their kids to inherit evenly. I have a friend that grew up like this. Her father was Serbian and so is her husband. Her parents paid for her brother to be a doctor and the other one a chiropractor, while she got nothing. Her parents expected her to get married and not have a profession. She put herself through nursing school, and her brother paid for her master's degree. She's now getting her doctorate, and she was a director at the University of Pennsylvania. Now she goes to rehab hospitals around the country and evaluates them. Moral of the story, some women wants to be more and nothing will stop them. Not even misogynistic parents. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not supporting my sister's plan to be a single mom by choice? My 30 male sister, 32 female, recently got out of a 7-year relationship after being cheated on. She was sure that she was going to marry this guy. She's wanted to be a mom for a while, but was waiting to be married. A couple nights ago, she came over to my house and had dinner with my family. After the kids went to bed, she told me and my wife about her plan to have a kid via sperm donor. I think she thought I was going to be happy for her, but I was not. I told her I can't believe that after growing up without a father in the household because our dad died when we were very young, she would purposely put kids in that situation. It seems incredibly selfish. She said she's prepared to do it alone and has strong men to be role models around, including me. I told her not to rely on me as a major role model, as my wife and I are strongly considering moving abroad before our kids start school. My wife is an EU citizen, and we may move to be closer to her family in Europe. Suffice to say, the rest of the conversation didn't go well. She stormed out, and yesterday was texting me how disappointed in me she was. I basically told her sorry if I was harsh, but I 100% believe everything I said. I just can't imagine purposely bringing a kid into a disadvantaged situation like that just because she's not sure if she'll ever find a partner again. You can disagree all you want and you shouldn't be forced into a father figure. But if you think that a child has a better life just because it has two parents, that's just crazy. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old, and my mother was my primary provider and she raised me without my father. And I have an amazing life, and I'm an amazing person because of my mother, and I grew up without a male figure around. My first male figure came into my life when I was 11 years old in the form of my stepdad. Don't put down single mothers because you don't believe in it or grew up in a tough way. But it is a lot easier with two involved parents versus one. The key is both need to be involved. Sure, I was raised by a single mother for years, and it's rough. We were fine, sister and I mostly, but really hard on my mom. I have a friend who married a POS, had 2 kids with him and then divorced. She is a fantastic mom, and her kids are far better off without their father in their lives, but she has it hard. There was no downtime when you are a single parent. Everything starts and stops with you, and it can be really exhausting and relentless. When you have a dependable, involved partner, you can beg off when you need to. Whether it's because you had a tough day at work, are tired, or not feeling it, whatever. You can also divide and conquer. One parent handles school drop-offs, one parent handles appointments, one parent buys clothing, one parent takes care of lunches. You alternate who stays home with a sick child, etc. When you're a single parent, you do all of it all the time, and it is not easy.